Hi, welcome to Los Olivos Wine Merchant Cafe, where you not only taste Central Coast wines, but you actually get to meet the winemakers. So my name is Sam Arnestein, and we have Bill Wathen here and Dick Dore from Foxen Winery. And these guys have been making wine here in the Valley for a long, long time, and we're super glad to have them here. So welcome, boys.
Hey, thanks for inviting us. This is really exciting.
If you could sum up your winemaking in one word, what would it be?
Okay, let me think. I have a personal philosophy that I borrow from the Navajos, and it's called Hazra, and it means to be in harmony with one's environment or to be at peace with one's circumstances, to be content with the day. And if I can rub that off in my winemaking, it usually works. And I think all the wines that we make are in balance, and so I think it does rub off.
What do you do in the vineyard to kind of follow that?
Be at peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be content through the whole process.
Right.
Yeah.
Would that mean that when you walk through the vineyard, you're having a glass of wine at the same time, so you can look at and see what kind of fruit needs to be dropped, or what kind of leafing needs to be pulled?
Making sure that all the elements are right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that has a lot to do with nature, because every
Yes.
year is different, and
Right.
every year
Yes.
something else needs to be done. And
Yeah, and realize that
I think Billy's always created our wines in the vineyard.
Yeah.
It's been his secret. His
Right.
knowledge has been viticulture, and that viticulture's carried over into the winemaking. So it's been a great duo.
Yeah. So you guys have been here in the Valley for a long time. I've been a fan of your wines since I came here 21 years ago. And how did you guys get together? I mean, how did this whole thing start, and where did you guys come from to reach this point?
We met at a party.
At a party?
At a party, yeah. A mutual friend who actually Bill had been in a tractor driving class at Cal Poly with. And this lady, Bill had sort of helped out and told her to get off the track when the caterpillar started moving. Anyway, she said, oh, this friend of mine Bill was managing, what was the vineyard?
It was called Mesa Vineyard.
Mesa Vineyard at that time. It's now owned by Cambria. And she said, come on over to this party. So back then, I had just gotten back from Europe went over there with my Volkswagen van.
With Volkswagen van, smoke coming out the windows, Moroccan curtains on the windows. So anyway, I go, who is this?
And we pulled it anyway. We hit it off, and I think the following Monday I was driving tractor for Bill at Mesa Vineyard, and worked there for a couple of years, I think. And then Billy went up to Chalone. You want to take it over there?
Yeah, I was up at Chalone for the late 70s, early 80s, managing their property. And then came back down here in the early 80s, and Dick and I started making wine in 1985.
Wow.
Yeah, we went and borrowed a press from Harold Pfeiffer up at Rancho Sisquoc and brought it back to press off our first wine, and had no way of getting it out of the pickup truck, so we had to press it off in the back of the pickup truck. So basically, we started at a very base level, and we did that for 2 years, and decided we better make wine that we like, because nobody maybe might not buy it, and we'd have to drink it. So after 3 years, we got professional and actually started selling the stuff.
Great. And then you guys have this slogan or something that you guys have at Foxen. What is it again, if you don't know something?
If you don't know Foxen, you don't know Dick or Bill.
That's it. You don't know Dick.
And that was a slogan that showed up about 1 o'clock in the morning at a bar in Santa Fe, when our distributor turned to me and said, if you don't know Dick or don't know Foxen, you don't know Dick. And so that's what our t-shirts say.
That's great. And you guys actually have like different things that you do in the winery. Can you tell the audience how you split
Sure, I'm home base.
Right.
I do all the farming and wine production.
Right.
I do the marketing. It's really funny though. In the early years, Bill and I sort of combated in the first years, and Billy obviously knew more about winemaking than I did. So finally, Billy turned to me one day and he said, I'm the winemaker. And if I make a bad wine, you're the winemaker.
I like that. I remember when I first moved here many moons ago and stopped off, and it's still, in my memory, I stopped off at the little shack, the Foxen tasting room shack, and you overlook, the hills out there, and it's just a little shack, and, and you taste, and you look at the shack, and you go, they probably have horrible wines or whatever. You get in there, and the wines were just fantastic. So you got this unpresuming little shack with fantastic wines, and I think that's all you need to kind of start a wine business. And you guys
we don't want anybody to presume too much.
So now it's many years later, 85. That's 33 years that you guys have been doing this. Have you evolved in any way? Have you changed things in any way? Is there anything that you're doing differently?
Yeah, we're making wine in a modern facility.
Which is nice for the winemaker.
You have refrigeration.
Makes it easier.
We have refrigeration, flush toilets, heating, and hot water.
Wow. I know when you
That
make
was after 25 years,
Wow.
180-year-old barn.
and to make such great wines without the modern facilities that you guys have done for so many years is truly so forth. When did that all happen?
We moved into the new facility in 2010 and divided up the wines into, at the shack, the original tasting room. We do all our Bordeaux blends and our Calatal blends and a Sauvignon Blanc. And at the new facility, it's all our white and red Burgundy wines and our Rhone varietals. And that includes the Chenin Blanc that we've been making since the get-go.
Billy referred to the shack. That was the blacksmith shop on the ranch originally back in 1880. That's where the stagecoach used to go through there. And it was in the movie Sideways. So people, it's sort of like a monument now. It was their big promotional photo was our tasting room, the shack. So our customers, they say, you can't close the shack.
Right.
And we go, but we have flush toilets and air conditioning.
Yeah.
Oh no, you can't. So that's why our philosophy of having them both, so you can actually get 10 wines from Foxen within a half a mile.
No kidding. And the new facility is gorgeous, beautiful. But then I've talked to people that have loved your wines for many years, and they go, you know what? I go tasting at the shack.
Oh, that's
I
it.
don't go to a new place. I just go to the shack, and I
know.
can see why. It's
Yes.
It's very quaint.
Yeah, it's very quaint, and it's the roots. It's where it all started, and it's a neat facility. If you haven't been to the Foxen tasting room, you got to go down and taste some wine at the shack, and then if you'd like to, go around, walk a little bit to the new facility, which is also beautiful. But the shack, I think, will always be special in my mind because that's when I first tasted Foxen wine. So, in the month of May, we're going to have these three Foxen wines here at Los Olivos Wine Merchant Cafe at 20% off, and online at winemerchantcafe.com at 20% off. And Bill, why don't you tell us a little bit about
The three
these
wines are 2015 Block W Biennacido Vineyard Chardonnay, our 2014 Pinot Noir Santa Maria Valley, which is a compilation of Solomon Hills, Biennacido, and Riverbench, so a real representation of the Santa Maria Valley. And our 2014 Volpino, which is our Little Fox, a Tuscan-style blend of 80% Sangiovese and 20% Merlot.
Great. And Dick Dore and his wife Jenny will be pouring these wines on May 26th here at the Wine Merchant from 5:30 to 6:30. We'll be serving hors d'oeuvres, and tickets are $25, and these wines again will be 20% off. So come on down and try these wines and talk to Dick and Jenny a little bit, and I'm sure you'll be entertained.
Dick will certainly entertain.
Well, guys, thanks for coming down here. It's always great to hang out with you guys and talk a little bit. I really enjoy it. Foxen has just been an anchor in the San Ynez Valley for many, many years, 30 plus years. So great getting together with you guys, and cheers.
It's an honor.